Here on the Ballet Cosplay Safety Show, we're happy to welcome back somebody we interviewed not too long ago on the Extreme Anime Radio podcast. Everybody, please say hello to one of the newest Sarah Yoshida cosplayers, Tori. Welcome back, Tori.
Hi again.
Thank you so much for joining us. Could you please tell us about your background in dance and ballet?
Absolutely. So I started dancing at the age of 3 because I wouldn't stop dancing around the house, and my mom thought, let's put her in some ballet classes. And, I ended up not really ever doing anything else. I fell in love with dance right from the beginning. I've continued with ballet. I've never stopped. I went on pointe when I was 11 years old. I started teaching classes when I was about 15, and I became kind of a full-fledged teacher once I graduated high school. I'm also a choreographer, and I also do other styles of dance such as contemporary, modern, jazz, tap, anything that the studio offered, I really just took up on because I wanted to be dancing as much as possible. The studio that I grew up dancing in and I actually teach in now, I'm a full-time teacher there. We were kind of a performance-based studio, not a competition studio, but a performance-based studio. So we would put on multiple performances throughout the year, both of classical ballets and of, we would have recitals with, jazz and tap and hip-hop and everything. But, for example, right now we're putting on the ballet of Sleeping Beauty.
Aww.
So I'm helping to choreograph that and rethink it for COVID restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been deeply ingrained in dance for my entire life, and I hope it never stops.
Wow, that's amazing, your tremendous background. And could you tell me about the first cosplay that you integrated dance into?
The first cosplay that I integrated dance into was actually my Madoka cosplay, because my mom, who made the costume, is a professional seamstress, and she sewed for the ballet for, I believe, about 17 or 18 years.
Oh, wow.
So she's very used to making ballet bodices for tutus and plaits, and she actually made a few tutus entirely from scratch, platter tutus.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that the Madoka costume is set up is actually, it's based on a tutu bodice, and the petals over top of the white skirt is actually based off of a tutu plait. So I thought, what if I put a white platter tutu underneath this costume instead? And it kind of gave birth to this whole big ballerina Madoka idea. I painted a pair of pointe shoes red, and I did a little ballet Madoka performance, and I had a blast. And since then, I was just itching to find more ways to incorporate ballet and cosplay.
And you've done that, I think, with the Sarah Yoshida cosplays that you've done so far. You did a few for Christmas time, and you did also a shoot in the snow during February, I think.
Yes.
But, Tori, the purpose of this program is to tell people about ideas and plans that they should follow if they want to integrate ballet into cosplay. Like, I want to be the next Princess Tutu. I want to be the next ballet Madoka. Those are probably the thoughts that people have. So go ahead. The stage is yours, as they say.
Well, obviously, I want to preface this with, I can't tell anyone what to do. And these are just kind of my opinions on ballet safety. And, everyone has their, right to do whatever they want. But, there's a lot of ways to incorporate ballet into your cosplays if you're a non-dancer without using pointe shoes. So that's kind of first off, is pointe shoes are a tool that ballerinas use. And, pointe shoes require a very specific set of muscles to keep you safe and lifted in your pointe shoes. and we train for so long to make sure that we have those muscles before we even start doing pointe, which is why most dancers don't go on pointe before they're 11. There are schools that put their students on before that, but generally your bones are developed and your muscles are developed when you're about 11. So first off is just, if you don't have any pointe training, and there's lots of other options, you can wear flat canvas or leather ballet slippers. Those always look amazing and they make your arch look fantastic, especially the stretch canvas ballet slippers. And if you're at a convention and maybe you don't think, I want to wear canvas shoes all day and definitely don't want to wear hard pointe shoes all day, you can opt for ballet flats that you can stitch ribbons to and tie the ribbons as you would a pointe shoe. So those are just some options for when you're at a convention, keeping yourself safe. You don't want to wear pointe shoes all day while you're at a convention. That hurts your feet. Second is when you're taking photos. Obviously, when you do a Princess Tutu cosplay, you think, oh, I'll just put on pointe shoes. But like I said, if you don't have any pointe training, that could be unsafe and it could hurt your feet. Cosplay is never worth an injury. And so you just want to be mindful and safe whenever you're doing a cosplay. Like I said, there's lots of other great options other than going for the pointe shoes. Now, if you're dead set on wearing those pointe shoes, like I said, can't tell anyone what to do. But if you're really dead set on wearing those pointe shoes, you probably should avoid poses where you're on both feet on pointe. Like, pointe shoes look great, but again, they're not worth the injury that could happen. So keep safe, like, just be smart cosplayers, and like I said, no cosplay is worth a potential injury.
You had said it wasn't until 11 that you started your pointe work, so it was about a good 8 years.
Yeah. And generally, no matter when you start dancing, some dancers start later. It's not saying that it takes 8 years to get those muscles, but a lot of it has to do with bone structure, and your growth plates calcify around when you're 11. And so going on pointe before that could be detrimental to your bones. Again, I'm not saying anything indefinite because everybody's body is different, but the general consensus within the dance community is that students that are 11 are generally safe for pointe if they have sufficient training before then. So I know dancers that started at 5 that went on pointe at 11. I know dancers that started at 7 that went on pointe at 11. I know dancers that started at 7 that went on pointe when they're 13, because it just takes time to build up those proper muscles. And dance is all about safety. Dance can be so dangerous if you don't take it seriously.
Before we wrap up, there's one question I wanted to ask you about your recent Sarah cosplay in the snow. How did you pull that off, being on your toes in the middle of, I guess, or after a snowstorm?
So, again, I am all about safety as a dance teacher.
Right.
All about safety. So I did not want to just run out in the snow in a pair of pointe shoes and try and go on pointe. Especially, I took those photos myself. Definitely did not want to do that alone. So actually what I had done was I took a piece of wood, small piece of wood, and before I put on my pointe shoes, I went out and I set it in the snow. I set up my tripod with my camera. Everything was all set. And then I put on my pointe shoes. I made sure that my body was super warm, because lots of dance injuries occur because people aren't warmed up and stretched out, and then they try and do something and it can cause an injury. So I made sure I was super warmed up. I made sure that my toes were nice and warm by the heater, because like I said, it was very cold out. And I went out, I took a couple pictures, I came back in, I warmed myself back up, and then I went back out and took another couple pictures, and rinse and repeat until I had gotten the ones that I wanted. So snow can be slippery when you're on pointe, so I made sure that every single time the wood was really dry. I had a towel out there that I dried the wood off before I stood on it. Didn't want to slip. And I also made sure that my toes were warm inside my pointe shoes by going inside and warming up my shoes warming up my feet inside my shoes each time before continuing to take more pictures. Because like I said, cold muscles and dance don't mix very well. So at the very end, what I did was I just edited the snow in around my foot. So it looked like I was floating on that snow, but really I was safe on top of a piece of wood, and I was actually quite warm.
Wow. Anything else you'd like to share with regards to safety?
Anything else? Well, like I said, it's just about being smart cosplayers and making decisions that are right for us and our bodies. I know I've already said I think 2 times, but 3rd time's the charm. No cosplay is worth the injury, and there are so many great alternatives to actual pointe shoes for non-pointe dancers that want to do ballet cosplays. And, you know, again, it's just finding what's right for you and your body. And if you want to wear pointe shoes, that's a decision that you can make for yourself, but make sure to just be really smart about it, really safe about it. Don't go on point, you know, you can stay on totally on flat and show off those pointe shoes without actually putting that pressure onto your toes, because that's where injuries can happen.
Well, you heard it straight from the source, from a cosplayer, a dancer, a teacher, a choreographer. Tori, thank you so much for joining us here on the Ballet Cosplay Safety Show.
Thank you.